stuff like that, but it's been a lot of fun.
What's the adjustment been going from head coach at a high school and then assistant here?
I think a lot of it is just kind of learning the way that Coach Ash runs the program and getting comfortable, making sure that, I know exactly what my responsibilities are, and, learning Coach McNulty's offense. I think that's been a lot of fun. We're doing some really good stuff. So, I mean, those have probably been the biggest adjustments.
Some people might say that maybe your adjustment is made easier because they think that you were running your high school program as you might a college program. Is that fair for people to think?
Yeah, well, I will say this, that the time has not, everyone kept telling me that the time was going to be crazy. The time is no different, that's for sure. Just now I really get to focus on, pretty much two things. I get focused on, doing the best job I can with the running backs and, get my feet under me as far as recruiting goes. So, from that standpoint, I get to really focus on, the things that are really important to my job, which is pretty neat.
What has you seen out of the running back group so far?
I think we got a very versatile group. We've got a bunch of guys that have the ability to play and help us. So, right now I think we've got 3 or 4 guys that are ready to compete, and then a couple more that have a chance to, to develop by the time the season gets here. So I've been really happy with the way they work. They work hard. They're smart guys, and they like to compete. And on top of it, they're really good kids. They're easy to work with.
How about Pacheco? I mean, early enrollee. He should be in high school now. What have you seen out of him this spring?
He is really tough. He's really athletic. He works really hard. Obviously it's a big jump, going from being a high school quarterback pretty much to, being a Big Ten running back. But, he definitely shows flashes of it in every practice, where you say, boy, this guy's going to be a really good player. And he has a great work ethic.
About Jonathan.
I'm sorry?
What Jonathan has meant to the room for you.
Oh, he's been great. Have a guy that has been that successful of a college player and played at a really high level. He came from a great high school program, so he really understands what it's like to work. He's been a great leader in there. Even though he's still learning the offense, he's a very bright guy, and he really he's brought a lot of maturity to the group.
Coach Ash and Coach McNulty had some specific thoughts on that Blackshear needs to get X number of touches per game for you guys to be successful. Do you feel like he needs to touch the ball a certain amount of times?
Yeah, he may be our most dynamic offensive player. So I mean, John has talked a lot about making sure that he plays in every game. So keeping him healthy is really important. But we have to find ways to get him the ball. Whether it's a run game, pass game, the return game. He can really do a lot of different things. He's a very dynamic player.
Coach,
do you
recruiting
think this group is going to help you do that, though? I mean, so you said 3 or 4 guys.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I think it's really important. I mean, what Jonathan brings to the group, leadership experience, the schemes. Maybe the terms are different, but the schemes are comparable to some of the stuff he's done. And then Trey Snead has done a great job, and to see Pacheco's development, I think that we have the guys that we can make sure that we spread the ball around.
Coach, with recruiting, how's that been? The adjustment phase to it, and how's it? I mean, a lot of coaches know you already, but what's it been like?
It's been interesting. I mean, I think I have a lot of good relationships, and the majority of the guys that I'm recruiting are going to be up in North Jersey. So, I know a lot of the kids, and I know a lot of their families. So that part of it's been pretty good. I'm really excited to kind of develop relationships outside the area and kind of, maybe enhance some of the relationships I've had in the past. Obviously, the kids in the league that I coached in, obviously, I know a lot about a lot of those guys, but, it's been fun kind of delving into finding out more about some of the other kids. And, I've listened to a lot of guys kind of complain about that part of this job. I'm actually pretty excited about that part of this job. I think it should be fun. I think you really want to get to know the guys that you're going to coach. So I've been pretty excited about that part.
Nunzio, you were always known for your offensive innovation. What's it like working with John in your first year? You guys coming in together?
It's great. I think to see. In a lot of ways, it's very much exactly how it's done in the NFL, and I think that's really exciting to kind of learn some of the things that he's doing, some of the different protections, some of the different run schemes. It's really good football. He's a really intelligent guy, and the scheme is it's really effective. So I think it's been a lot of fun, and my biggest goal at this point is just to do my job the best I can. There may be a point where I can help contribute, somewhat scheme-wise, but right now my biggest focus is kind of just learning the system and doing my job.
Is your first year made easier just having an older guy like John Hellman in the room to try to lead some of those younger guys? Does that make your job any easier?
Definitely. I've kind of told him he's like dealing with a man. He's, they're all young men, but he is, at this point in his career, he is, he's played a lot of football, and he's played a lot of high-level football. So, he can lend a lot of advice and experience to the other guys, and he's pretty, while he's a great competitor, he's also pretty even keel. His personality.
Two more.
Okay. From a philosophy standpoint, are you a spread the wealth guy, backfield by committee, more of a bell cow guy? I mean, what's your preference?
Oh, well, I think, the biggest thing is keeping everybody healthy. So, if you have guys that we have the ability to spread the ball out, I think that we're definitely going to do that. But, I really think that almost mentality should be set by the head coach and the offense coordinator. And I feel pretty strongly that that's what we're going to do, because we have talented guys, and we might as well. There may be games where we're riding the hot hand, but I think that we're going to definitely try and spread the carries out so guys can stay healthy.
What's the reaction been like from the North Jersey community now that you're in this role and you're going back in there as a college coach trying to recruit some of these kids? What do you think the reaction's been like?
So far, it seems like it's been really positive. A lot of those guys, a lot of those relationships go back my entire life. My dad was a coach. I played against some of those guys. I coached against all of them. So I feel like, there are a lot of guys, just different, camps, clinics, and stuff over the years. I think I have a lot of good relationships. So, so far that's been pretty seamless.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.